So, what does it take to run a really successful social media campaign in your recruitment marketing? The role of paid social media is absolutely critical to making sure the right people are seeing your content and ultimately converting into talent that will join your organization and contribute to the bottom line. So that's why I'm delighted to have chatted with Taylor Setterfield from Leap Create, and we talk about the role of paid social and how you can make sure you run it as effectively and efficiently as possible. So let's get on with the chat.
That's what we try and get through to our clients. Actually, there's so much behind the platforms that allows you to target the correct people. Because when we speak to our clients and we say, oh, if you want to do a campaign and you're spending X amount, and they're like, oh, that's brilliant, but what if it doesn't bring in the right people? And it's changing their mind from an organic audience where you don't have that control compared to a paid environment where you do have that level of control. You can ensure that you're hitting the click-through rates, the engagement rates. You can tell if you're hitting the right person, and obviously the results that you see as well. So, and going back to your point, what a line that I love is be strategically consistent but creatively unpredictable. And as you say, in a market which is saturated with other people's posts, etc., you have to be creatively unpredictable. You have to have something there that makes the user, when they're scrolling, stop in their tracks and like, oh, you know what, this is really interesting. But at the same time, pair that with the targeting strategy that we just spoke about.
It's true, and I'm going to use a famous quote if anyone's a Spider-Man fan here, which is, with great power comes great responsibility. And just because you're able to target people on social media doesn't mean you can just chuck any old rubbish at them. It's got to be, I like what you say about the creative unpredictability side of things, but also coupled with that like proper strategy of going, let's really see about what true value is, what true value we can give people. That means it's going to stand out in the feed and someone's going to actually want to spend their very, very precious time with that content, because I've heard so many different stats. I mean, last one I heard was like we see 10,000 up to 10,000 messages a day, which I reckon that's probably an understatement, along with the God knows how many millions of thoughts that you have in your head, billions of thoughts you have in your head throughout the day. It's there's a lot of demand for attention, for sure.
100%. And that strategy that you spoke about, so we work with our clients at that funnel approach. You can't just go straight to a pool, although that you've got that targeting criteria there. You can't go straight to that pool and say, hi, you don't know who we are as a company, you have no clue what we do, but come and apply for a role right now. You have to create content at each stage of that funnel. So at top of funnel, you need to create that brand awareness. Who are you? What do you do? And then you've got more that middle of funnel when you can, from an employer branding point of view, you can sell in like, what do you do as a company? Do you have that career progression? Do you focus on mental health, etc.? All of these key factors. And then at the bottom of funnel, you can focus more on, right, this is our role, and apply now and try and drill up that urgency, because you're already retargeting people who've shown an interest at that top of funnel and middle of funnel. So you're creating that warm pool of candidates.
When you layer in that thing about, okay, well, yes, we need to position our brand and make people clear about who we are. You kind of do it by your behavior as well, not just by your messaging. So if you can weave in that content that actually is going to help people, I say often kind of help people take the next step in their day, the next step in their week, or the next step in their career, it's then you're going to be seen as a valuable source. That's why content marketing is, I think, so powerful for this space. Is if you bang on about yourself all the time, people aren't going to be tuned into that anyway, because they're not even considering other companies. But if they do know you and you keep banging on about yourself, then it's just going to get annoyed. Just human nature, isn't it? You talk about yourself all the time. People will not be interested.
100%. And that's like when we talk to our clients, we always try and push them to use this always on approach, so that you're not just selling in them, hard asks of, oh, we've got a job here, we've got a job there. It's looking at almost like telling a story. So you really
Mm.
start, like, as I said, that funnel approach, but having that always on allows people to know who you are from a softer point of view, whether or not you've won best employer, etc. All these different factors that might contribute to someone actually being, oh, you know what, that sounds like a really good company. Let me find out more about them. But you
Mm.
do it in more of a softer way. And as you say, it's the same with anything in life. You get pushed on the street to try and sign up for something, you're like, whoa. But
Yeah.
if it comes more from yourself and you do that research and oh wow, and that's what it is, it's targeting people in a more passive way rather than going in with that, apply now to our company, or we're a great company, come here now.
How do clients kind of get into paid social, kind of with the stabilizers on? Or how do you get clients to actually just, increase their level of spend? Because whether you're starting from scratch or whether you're kind of upping the ante in terms of investment, there's still that potential sticking point there, aren't there? So
Mm.
what are those kind of sticking points, and how do you get over those sticking points?
So I think it comes down to a few different components. So number one is we've touched upon it before, but you've got to have a good strategy behind you. You need to create content at each one of them different stages of the funnel. But not only that, you need to have a good strategy, because we always advise in every single campaign we do to use A/B testing. And the reason being is because our client might be like, oh, actually, if we use this image, that will work so much better. We think something else. And we're like, what is the point in you having a view and me and us having a view as an agency when it's down to the target audience? As an
Mm.
expert, say we get it right 100% of the time, but at the same time, you won't know. Everything's changing every single day.
Mm.
So that's such a key part. You've got to do that A/B testing, and whether or not that's to do with your targeting, whether or not that's to do with your creative. Um, it's a different approach for both, but I think you've got to use that different testing and constantly optimize your ads to ensure that you're reaching the best outcome, and it's that
Mm.
continuous cycle. So we which is why we always advise to do an always on approach with our clients, because then therefore we gather really valuable insights, which we work with our clients with, and
Mm.
we continuously create campaigns that reach good results. And you can look at the return on investment in it. This is how much money it took to get a qualified interview. This is how much money it took to actually get a placement within the client's company. And when you do compare that to recruitment agency fees, it's really a no-brainer. We're seeing that
Mm.
for one placement that they'd get using a recruitment agency, they'd get up to sometimes 11 placements through a paid social campaign. So when you
Mm.
look at it on that front, and not only are you getting them placements, but you're also building that brand awareness. So I'd say, and also consistency. So you can do
Mm.
these short burst campaigns, which a lot of our clients do, which is great. They'll still get them results. But actually, if you're consistent with your paid social strategy, then you're continuously targeting that specific target audience and you're staying top of mind. So whether or
Mm.
not they're looking to change jobs right there and then, they have you in their top of mind when they are ready to take that change. And I think
Mm.
that that's really important. Have enough media spend behind you, so that, because what we find is that it takes users at least 3 to 6 times to see an advert before they even click through and then make that conversion, because you're creating that relationship between yourself and the end user. So what
Mm.
I'd say is make sure you have enough media spend behind your campaign, so that you're not just top they're not just seeing the advert, the first time, the second time, because yeah, you might be building that awareness, but you're not actually converting them, which is, ultimately what everyone wants. So you have
Mm.
to have enough media spend behind you in order to retarget them, in order for them to see the advert enough times and for them to take the action that you want them to take.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of got to do it properly, haven't you? The danger is that if you just do a little bit and, I don't know, go straight to boosting a post on Facebook, or, even doing that on LinkedIn, it's not set up the right way. There's not enough budget put into it, and there's a danger of it just going, oh, it doesn't work. Well, but if you have a solid strategy behind it and you take a longer game on it, then fantastic. Not to say that you can't get quick returns. I mean, I've often found that if you start with a campaign approach on a particular hotspot area in terms of recruiting, and then use that as like the pilot to then scale that approach into other areas of the business, great. As you say, you do your split testing, and the real world will tell you if something works or not, and you get that very, very quickly. With social media, it's great. It's just instead of the danger of booking some inventory and then having to have the discussion with the media platform saying, oh, well, we didn't get what we wanted, so can you give us more of the same things that didn't work? or the recruiter side of things, you're spending goodness how many thousands of pounds on the fact that they've found someone that may not even be the right person, but they're trying to get their fee, and they'll put a candidate through because they know that once they get that candidate position, then they're going to get a load of money. But in the meantime, no one really knows about your brand as well as they should do, and they may not be the right person because of that. So yeah, long game is important, but you can get quick returns.
Another thing that I would say is in regards to the content, we always advise our clients to go to market with not just one social advert. So meaning go to market with static imagery, go to market with videos as well, because they work in different way and the end user will consume that information in different ways. So video views, you could like they just run in different ways. So video views, you could use that as a way to have eyes in front of such a large portion of people compared to the static. But with static, you see conversions more. So they just having the combination of both will ensure that you get a better result. And there's other ways you can do direct messaging, etc. So have multiple avenues to target your end user, and then you should see the positive result, whether or not what advert format that comes in.
Yeah, you're right. Social media platforms, social media apps, they is within their interest to have different formats to keep people engaged, but also to give advertisers the opportunity to find different ways of ultimately converting people. And I always find it funny how yes, I think people mistake goals for objectives. The goal being we need to hire people. So what do? We just put apply out there, but actually there's nothing wrong in creating content that is just about being watched. God forbid. It's just about being watched, nothing else. And because of the technology we have to our hands, is that when you get paid specialists involved, you can target those people because they have watched X percentage of that video. Fantastic. Happy days. So it just takes a bit more of a different mindset really to do it. Well, really appreciate it. Thanks for the chat. You have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me. It's been a really great chat.